Would you like to learn the secret behind making this beautiful charcuterie plate in your very own kitchen?
Well, today on WTF, we're going to show you how to use Umai bags to make beautiful charcuterie at home without a ton of extra equipment. Hello and welcome to WTF, where we transform food here in the Modernist Pantry Test Kitchen. I'm Chef Scott Guerin.
And I'm Janie Wang, one of the owners of Modernist Pantry. And here on WTF, every Tuesday we talk about unique ingredients, techniques, and share ways that you can do these recipes in your own kitchen. So remember, subscribe and ring the bell and you'll get notified of our content. It comes out every single Tuesday. And this week, we're excited to do the part 2 of our Umai bag episodes, where we're talking about how you can dry age and cure and do charcuterie at home. So if you didn't watch last week's episode, it will be in the links in the description below. But today we're going to be talking all about charcuterie. Now, I personally love a charcuterie plate because you get lots of little bites and you get to try a lot of things. And it's never occurred to me that it's something that could even possibly be done at home because you need such a long time and all this special equipment, etc., etc. So we're excited to talk about number one, what is charcuterie? What goes into it? How do you make something into a piece of delicious charcuterie? And then number two, how does the Umai dry bags make that accessible to you? So Scott, why don't we start off with a little bit about, like when someone is making charcuterie, what is happening in that process from, a technique and cooking perspective?
Sure. So the biggest one's going to be the cure. With a long-term dry age, long-term, it is technically dry age, but a long-term cure, you're going to use Prague powder number 2 or Insecure number 2. There's a million names for it, but Prague powder number 2 is probably the most common. And what that one is for that long-term dry. So you're never going to use Prague powder number 2 for a short-term wet or anything like that. The reason why you want to is that it will allow you to do it in a warmer climate, right? So you can do it inside of a temperature-controlled, humidity-controlled fermentation chamber. When you're doing this at home using the Umai bags, you can actually use that Prague powder number 2 and do it in your own refrigerator.
Yeah, and how exactly does the bags, and I believe we have a couple so we can show, they look like regular food saver bags or vacuum bags. What makes them different so that people can do the charcuterie versus, me putting into a food saver and popping in the fridge?
Sure. So these are actually the bags that come with the charcuterie kit, so they're a little bit smaller. They're nice long bags, so you can place them in there. But to reiterate from last week, and if you didn't check out last week, we did it all about Umai dry aging, so dry aging steaks, ribeyes, things like that. But they look just like a vacuum seal bag, but they are a different type of membrane, and this membrane allows the moisture to come out and allows it to dry age inside of everything from a home refrigerator to a chest refrigerator, whatever you happen to have in your house, walk-in refrigerators, things like that if you're using it for an industrial kitchen. But you don't need a chamber specifically for dry aging or curing. So that's really amazing that these bags even work. And from seeing this, they absolutely do. It's really amazing.
Yeah, and when someone's deciding to try to do something like this at home, how do they know how much time needs to pass before whatever it is that they're trying to make is safe to eat or that will taste good?
So that's actually a great question, because you don't necessarily know if you've never done this before. If you're new to long-term curing or anything like that, you're going to want to have to look into it and figure out how much time you need. So the way you're going to do that is actually by weight.
Okay.
So some people think, oh, it's time, it's going to take a year, no, it's going to be by weight. So these bags allow that moisture to come out. And that moisture is generally, you want it to be about 60% of the original start weight. So let's just say you're curing something that weighs 1,000 grams, which is about close to 2 pounds, right? You want to pull it out when it weighs around 600 grams. So it's lost about 40% of its starting weight. That's how you know it's going to be at that correct sliceable texture. That's really what you want. You don't want it to be wet on the inside. the moisture on the inside is not really going to matter unless you're doing something like you want to crisp it up. This pancetta, we can put it into a pan and we can get it beautifully crispy, right? Or we can eat it directly. This is actually safe to eat. You know, the pancetta can go right on something. It's nice and supple because of all the fat. But you want to get it so that 40% has been taken out and you're left with 60% of the original weight.
Okay, and what do you have here that, you know, I think we're going to do a little show today?
Sure, so it's very simple. This is a pancetta. We have a finished one here and then we have one that's starting. Whenever you're curing something like this, you're going to cure it for about 2 weeks, depending on the size, before it goes into the Umai bag. So basically what I did is I basically put the cure all over this and I let it sit in my, my walk-in or wherever you're doing it. And then I let it cure for 2 weeks, take it out, I rinse it off, and I just season the outside just a little bit more so that there's some more pepper and a little bit of juniper, like ground juniper in there. So basically all I'm gonna do, and it's so simple, I can show you how easy it is once it's cured. I'm just gonna roll this up, right? And then I'm just gonna tie it. And once you have it, just do a quick tie on it. That's basically it. And then we can put it into the bag. So with this, I've already rinsed it. If you dry it off too much, it's not going to make perfect contact with this bag. Okay. So let's say you put it in your refrigerator and you had it kind of open to the elements, it's going to dry naturally in a refrigerator. So I always kind of wrap it up. If you have a food saver or a vacuum sealer at home that you're going to use for this, I would throw it in that and let it cure in that. That way the outside stays tacky, because when you put it into this Umai bag, you want it to have a little bit of moisture that's going to stick to the outside. Okay. So once we get it in here, it's very simple. If you're doing something like a brujol, we actually made a tenderloin brujol, so it's extremely tender and wonderful to eat. Sometimes brujol is made of top round, which or eye of round, which is generally the worst cut, but we wanted to do it so it's just like pretty much melts in your mouth.
It sure does.
So we have this here. And if you're doing this in a regular vacuum sealer, you can just vacuum seal it once and it's good to go. If you're doing it in a food saver at home, you're going to want this. Now this is called the vac mouse. And basically you're going to put this inside the bag right where you're going to seal it. You're going to seal it once on the vac mouse and then you're going to seal it a second time. That's just going to make sure that the majority of the air gets out of this bag and you have a good seal and good contact. One thing you need to note just about these bags is that you're never going to get 100% of the air out. Remember, they are a breathable membrane, so some air is going to stay in there. As long as after a few days, it kind of almost suctions in and will become adhered to the outside, that's when you know you're good.
Yeah. And once they have it all sealed up and they're storing it in the refrigerator, do you have any tips for like proper storage that you should be aware of? Also, this brujol is amazing. It's so good. I'm going to have another piece.
So, yeah, absolutely. Have as many pieces as you want. So, yes, if you were to put this, straight down on top of a glass, shelf in a refrigerator, the moisture is not going to come out of here. When you're kind of harboring all that moisture in there, you could open yourself up for some pathogens or whatnot. It may not happen with this because we do have Prague powder number 2 on here, right? But it's not safe to, and you're not going to get an even dry on the outside of it. So always put a rack down. You're going to want to sit it on top of a rack. If you have a refrigerator that, a lot of industrial kitchens, commercial kitchens have just normal racks, you can place it right on top of there. With this, you always want to take the cards that come in. So inside there's a little sticker. You can put the start weight and the finish weight right on there. You'll know, you can take it out, you can place it onto a scale. Okay, I'm at about 70% of my total, my starting total. Put it back in until it hits that 60. It's so incredibly easy to do.
Yeah. So when you're on our website, modernistpantry.com, these are available for sale, and they come in a few different varieties. I believe the charcuterie bags, they come in a small size where you can do things like that, a large size for things like this, or you can get, this is like kind of a sampler pack, so you get a few of each one so you can do a few different things. And like Scott said, it comes with the card for, tracking. They have their own recipes in here.
Yeah.
Obviously, you'll have our recipes, but you can have theirs too, and as well as the Prague too. And was that juniper berries? Or
yeah,
something?
exactly.
Okay.
That's what I was just about to get into. Is like, if you get that pack, you pretty much have everything you need other than the refrigerator to make whatever it is you're trying to make. There's recipes, obviously the juniper berries, which go in a lot of their recipes, and you get the Prague powder number 2. All the information is going to be in there. It's really easy to follow and super simple recipes that can get you started and get you making stuff within a few weeks.
Yeah, we are so excited to be able to offer this line because it allows you to do things that were previously technically inaccessible to people in their home kitchens, or even to a lot of restaurant kitchens where you don't have the room or the equipment or the budget to do these things. So now everybody can do it, and that's what we love about the Umai bags. So definitely give all these recipes a shot. We'll have this up on our blog. You can watch, the dry aging videos on our Instagram at Modernist Pantry, or on this channel just in a few days. And if you have any questions about anything we talked about here, leave them in the comments below. Tell us what you like to dry age. We love hearing from you. So from here in the Modernist Pantry Test Kitchen, I'm Janie Wang.
And I'm Scott Garrett.
Thank you so much for watching, and if you haven't already, like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that bell so you get notified when we drop a new video.
To get today's recipes and all of our recipes, remember to go to blog.modernistpantry.com, where you get recipes, ask a chefs, tips and tricks, and more.
And if you haven't already, tell a friend so they know what's going on here at WTF.
And as always, to get any of the ingredients you saw today, you can go to modernistpantry.com to shop.
And until next time, we'll be here in the test kitchen helping you create memorable and magical experiences.